Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing the flag like a cape and treating constitutional rights like those terms of service agreements that nobody reads, the former fighter, full-time Fox News soundbite machine, and the man currently trying to turn Homeland Security into an MMA undercard. Weighing in at one bad idea, 0 workable aviation plans, and unlimited taxpayer-funded cruelty, the Oklahoma outrage merchant, the sanctuary city sky warrior, the man who heard human rights and immediately reached for the pepper spray, Markwayne shut down the airport's Mullin. And fighting out of the blue corner, representing immigrants, families, protesters, lawyers, decent people everywhere, constitutional oversight, and every American who still thinks due process is not something radical, weighing in at millions of people who are sick of ICE cosplay, government retaliation, and cabinet officials confusing cruelty with strength. They don't have a fake tough guy nickname, but they've got the Constitution and basic morality. It is most Americans. That's right. It is a cage match with MMA Mark Mullin over sanctuary cities. That's right. And his plan to fix all of it is to break all of your airports. And frankly, folks, it's time. It's time that we remind Markwayne Mullin that the United States is not a cage fight and that ICE is not above the law and human rights don't tap out just because some cable news tough guy says so. And to get to the news, the man currently in charge of the United States DHS is Markwayne Mullin, the former plumber, former Oklahoma senator, and former undefeated mixed martial arts fighter. And as of late Tuesday, now the official sponsor of an idea so spectacularly stupid that experts came up with my favorite new classification of sanity. To quote Aaron Melnick at the American Immigration Council, he calls it actively insane. And it is actively insane because Markwayne Mullin goes on Fox News on Hannity and announces that the Department of Homeland Security is, quote, drawing up plans, and yeah, he didn't have the G there in drawing. It's drawing up plans to halt the processing of international flights at airports in any American city that doesn't let ICE do whatever the hell ICE wants. The man in charge of the agency that is in charge of preventing the next 9/11 suggested on cable television that the appropriate response to a New Jersey detention center protest is to break global aviation.
And we are currently, which we're not initiating yet, but we're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities where the local radical left Democrats aren't allowing us to do our job and enforce federal laws, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either, because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to process immigration at their facilities. Nothing about that makes sense to me.
And to give you the background, last weekend protesters showed up at Delaney Hall. It's an ICE detention facility in Newark. And United States Senator Andy Kim was pepper sprayed by federal agents while trying to do his actual job, which is, oversight. The thing that the Constitution specifically says senators get to do. And the Donald's administration's response to that United States senator being assaulted by federal employees on federal property isn't, we will investigate. It's not, we're going to discipline the agents. It's not even, we apologize. Their policy is, why are we processing international flights into the airport there? It's absolutely, actively insane. And by the way, the Homeland Security Secretary, Markwayne Mullin, doesn't know that you don't just process flights into the airport there. Customs and Border Protection runs international arrivals at every major American hub. Every single one of them. That's pretty much the entire job of Customs. You can't turn off Newark without turning off the gateway to the entire Northeast corridor. And Andy Kim got pepper sprayed at a detention center, and the cabinet's response is to retaliate by, in effect, canceling everyone's summer vacation. Juliet Kayyem, who actually used to run a piece of DHS under Obama, posted on an X that I have to say this out loud because it sounds exactly like something I would have said. She said, of all the bad ideas floated by this administration, this one ranks. It certainly does. It is just another one of their terrible ideas. And then let's think about how they would actually implement this, because this is where the funny part stops being funny and it starts becoming real damage. Okay, let's say you just flip off that switch. Airlines don't just divert flights or change from Chicago to Pittsburgh instead. A 747 from Frankfurt going to Newark with 400 people on board can't just hang a left to go to Cleveland because they're Republican. The crews have a set number of hours they can fly. The fuel calculations, which are out of this world because of Iran, the fuel calculations have to be spot on. The destination airports, if they don't have the customs infrastructure or open gates, the flights get canceled. And they will get canceled by the hundreds. You'll have American business travelers waiting for hours at Heathrow. American grandparents stuck in Dublin for days after visiting their grandkids. American honeymooners camped out in Paris. And all of them, all of their plans ruined because the Homeland Security Secretary lost a Fox News fight with a senator from New Jersey. This is nothing more than collective punishment. It's the federal government telling Chicago, Newark, Boston, San Francisco, you don't support our reign of terror? Then no global commerce for you. This administration isn't even pretending to be about immigration anymore, because if you shut off the international arrivals desk at JFK and Newark, the people trying to enter the country don't stop trying. They just have to get routed through Atlanta or Dallas, where, by the way, the federal immigration laws are exactly identical. And there's no separate Texas Republican Border Patrol. Customs and Border Patrol is everywhere. So it really doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of difference in that regard. And do you really think that somewhere like Atlanta could handle all of Newark's international flights? No. So what you're doing is overtaxing your own customs agents, overtaxing the infrastructure of international hubs themselves, and then punishing the world collectively because you want to be able to arrest and deport people that don't look the way Stephen Miller wants them to look. The Trump administration is so desperately idiotic that they would literally cripple American and global aviation and commerce as a political weapon. And their only reaction inside their building was, great soundbite, Markwayne. And that's where I want you guys to drop me a comment. I want you to tell me if this administration and their threats have ruined your summer travel plans, because they have definitely ruined mine. We are no longer going on our summer vacation, so you guys are stuck with me all summer.